January is that kind of like limbo time where you do start some things, right? But it's also still getting ready to set up your year.
Live your life within the moment.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Eileen if you're new here. And on today's video, we're gonna be doing all things prep and plan for 2026. Today, I'm gonna be sitting down, I'm gonna be going over all of the different areas of my life and my goals that I wanna focus on for this year. I've been thinking about this for the last couple weeks, and I have a pretty good idea what I want to focus on this year, but let's write it all on paper and let's get ready. So grab a warm beverage. If it's cold in Miami, it's actually been pretty cold the last couple days, so it's kind of nice that we're getting into a little bit of our winter. So grab a warm beverage, grab a planner, a notebook, whatever you need, and let's plan for 2026. All right, so the first thing I'm doing is I'm getting my notebook, my pencils and pens and highlighters and things that I'm going to use, and my 2026 planner, as well as my notebook that I'm using for 2026. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get my notebook and I just want to write down all the things that I need to do. So I did something very similar to this not too long ago, like last week or something like that, where I just wrote down a big brain dump of all the things that need to get done. And a lot of these things still need to get done. But instead of going from this list, I just want to write a new one where I'm gonna look at all the things that I need to get done in the next 3 days. So more doable things. All right, so my house is a really big mess. So the first thing I want to do, and I still, as you can see, have my Christmas decor up. This year I didn't go crazy like I did last year and take everything down on the 25th. It was a much more pleasant and slower Christmas season, which I appreciate. So I actually kept it up. But that's going down this weekend because I am definitely not one of those people that keeps the tree up till late January. No. My first category is going to be home. I want to take down Christmas decor, and that means we also have to take it to storage. Something else I want to do is deep clean the bathrooms, which also means I want to not edit, I want to revamp, or no, not revamp. I just want to like remove all of the toys that we have in there, because my kids like baths. Even though they have their own bathroom, that bathroom is a shower, and we don't personally like that bathroom. So we use the big bathroom as well in our room. So all 4 of us are using my bathroom, and we just like, honestly, it doesn't even make sense for us to have a 2-bathroom house. 1.5 bathroom house would have been just fine, considering we all use the same bathroom. But that's besides the point. So I want to take out all the toys that they have in there and just put a couple in there, because what they've been wanting to do lately is dump all of the toys all over the bathroom, and then they don't really play with a lot of them. So I want to do some sort of toy rotation for the bathroom. To organize, because my kitchen is still a little bit disorganized from when I hosted my tarot day. So I want to organize my kitchen, and this also includes clean appliances as well as clean out fridge. The kids' room is a very big mess, so I also very much need to clean out the kids' room. I have to organize, put away clothes, and organize slash put away for rotation. Then my room is pretty bad. For that one, I have to take out trash, because I have a lot of trash of random things I was throwing away. Pack up for storage. I have some stuff I wanted to donate. Clean surfaces, organize makeup slash jewelry, and I have to focus on my dresser, because my dresser has so many things on top of it that I just need to like remove. That's super important. The living room doesn't really need much. I just have to like look through the kids' toys. Dining room is fine because it has just like some stuff that I have to like take to put away for Christmas. Okay, the floors need to get cleaned of like my whole house. Surfaces need to be wiped. I also need to do the kids' laundry, which I could just run a load while I do other things. So the kids' laundry, my laundry, and husband's laundry. Okay, that is a lot of stuff to do in the house. So I definitely need to break this up a little bit to see how I can do it quickly. If I only focus on this, then I'm literally gonna get nothing else I want to do done. So I'm gonna pick maybe one room and one set of laundry to do today. So that's the home stuff I have to do. Now I wanna write down the different prep things I actually have to do, like different planning aspect of it. What's going on my mind right now is financials. So I'm gonna write financials and what things I have to do financially. So I have to create a budget for January through March. I think the way that I want to split up my budgets this year is to do 3 months at a time. And I feel like that'll be a more sensible way, especially since we have a couple financial things that are going to be changing as the months continue and as the year progresses. So I want to just budget for little bits at a time. It'll force me to look into my finances frequently so that I can stay on top of it. Because I'm very good at creating a budget, but I'm not very good at following it. And this year, one of my goals, which we'll get to when we get to the goals section of this, is that I really need to pay down my debt. That's where I'm at. So the first thing again I want to do to create a budget from January to March. I want to also have a sit down with my husband to discuss debt, and with that I want to form a debt payment plan for us. Something else I want to do with my budget is rebuild my savings. But that's the main thing, just create a budget, have a sit down to discuss a debt repayment plan, and rebuild savings. Also, like, just create some sort of money management system. Okay, so the next area I want to focus on is creating a daily and weekly schedule for the family. So I'm going to put this one as time management. So what this means is not that I'm going to schedule every minute of every day, but for example, I want to put on the daily schedule what time I'm expected to come home, what time I'm going to use for like any sort of exercise, what time the kids are going to be doing their homework, the kids' bedtime, things like that that are the same every single day, but maybe they got a little bit out of hand through the holiday season. I want to take that back, take that ownership back and schedule it. As far as a weekly schedule, it's kind of the same thing. There's certain things we do every week. We have to do some cleaning every week. We have to do some laundry every week. We usually have a family night on Friday, so scheduling the different family nights. And then I want to also take into consideration the different types of events that we have going on, because we do have a couple of different events going on this week. And I want to try this out again from January through March. I feel like doing 3 months at a time forces me to take a look back at what I'm doing to see if it's been consistent, to see if it's been a good use of time, and then to see what's not working so that I can make any switches that need to be made. So we do have several activities coming up. I have a couple of baby showers, semi-busy, but with planning, it'll make me a lot more prepared, especially with that whole financial aspect. So actually, I'm gonna go back to the financial aspect, and I have to plan out gifts for events, because obviously, like, we give gifts for baby shower, we give gifts for birthdays and things like that, so I have to take those things into financial consideration. All right, so event planning January through March. Something I want to add to this is decide on my non-negotiables and schedule them into my day. So I feel like non-negotiables can be like exercise or sleep, or like specific times where I'm not going to use any sort of electronics, or what time I eat, or things like that. So I feel like that is good to decide while I'm creating the schedule. All right, so the next thing I want to plan is nutrition, meals, anything like that. So I'm going to categorize this as meals and nutrition. So something I need to do is update my master grocery list. If you don't have a master grocery list, I cannot recommend it enough. It just makes my life so much easier. A master grocery list is essentially a list of things that you get every week. Your meats, if you get the same kind of meats, right? So your meats, any canned goods, if you get like stuff from the deli, you know, like for example, I know that I have to get yogurt and milk for my kids. I know that I have to get freeze-dried fruit for my kids, right? So those things are always on my list. So instead of having to write it in every single week, I just have a master grocery list that I check and uncheck every time that we go grocery shopping. And it just makes life so much easier. And I don't know if you know this, but now on the reminder app, if you have an iPhone, there is a grocery section that you just add the list of items that you want. Like for example, I copied and pasted my master grocery list from my notes app, and it just categorized everything for me. So now I don't have to go to the deli section and then to the freezer section and then to the whatever other sections of the grocery store there are. I just have everything exactly where they go, and it just makes life a lot easier. So have technology help you, people. I know that we use technology a lot to just give us answers to things, right? But why not use technology to just simplify our life? That's what I think it's meant to do. So why not use it to do that? Anyway, that's another tangent that I'm not gonna go super into. My main point is have a master's grocery list because it's amazing. So I'm just gonna look it over and update it, make sure the things I have on there are still things that we get regularly, and just do that. Next, I want to create my meal plan. And this is mainly for dinner for January. I like to schedule all the meals that I'm gonna cook in January so that I know what's coming, right? I know exactly what to expect and what exactly, like what meats I have to buy or whatnot for what days. So it just makes my life easy, especially as somebody that buys their protein at Wild Fork. I like to go once a month, stock up on everything I need and use it. Something else I want to do this year is plan meal prep. I did a really bad job last year when I sat down and I went through all of the things that I did well and all the things I did not so well this past year. I realized that I really haven't meal prepped in a long time. And what I don't want to do is to start relying more on Uber Eats because it's expensive. I want to get back into meal prep, but what that entails is me having to have a sit down and think about things that I will actually eat throughout the week, things I can very quickly prep on Sunday, because that is another reason why I was not very good at meal prepping the last couple years since I've had kids, really. It's because I don't have a lot of time. So I need to figure out a way to make balanced dishes that will reheat well the next day or be eating cold or however it is, but are still nutritious. And I have some nutritional dieting kind of goals for this year 2026, so I want to incorporate that into my meal prepping. This I'm going to do 1 month at a time, just because if something didn't work out in January, I can tweak it for February and so on and so forth. My plan is to at least by April or May have a very good go-to meal prep that doesn't take a long time and is still very nutritious and aligns with my goals. So meal prep. Lastly, for the meal and nutrition section, I want to prioritize and finalize my nutritional goals. I think that's the first thing I have to do in order for the rest of it to work. That's a good couple of things I have to do for the meal and nutrition section. I do want to include a very small self-care section that I want to tweak a bit. But it's not very extensive, just simply because I had a haircut that I really like in November. I also got my nails done. I've been doing facials. I have like not facials, but I've been taking care of my skin too. So I don't really feel like I need to do a lot in this department, but I do want to plan out how I'm going to maintain all of this throughout the year. So all I want to do for the personal care section is create a plan for haircut, maybe book appointment. I'm going to create a plan for doing nails. I need to book laser appointment and essentially just schedule everything. And this goes back into the time management thing, where if I prioritize these things, I add them to my calendar and they become non-negotiables. They become the things that's what I'm doing on those days. And these are not things that are gonna take me whole days either, but we all know us millennials do not like calling to make appointments of any sort. So it'll be good to just do it in one go. Schedule all my haircuts for the year. Like if I know that I like to get a haircut every 3 months, then I will schedule my 4 different haircuts for the whole year. So these are just things that can help you, again, prioritize yourself and the things that you want to accomplish, as well as just carve some time for yourself and to maintain yourself. Something I noticed this year, when my nails are done, I feel like a put together person. And it's not things you think about, but when my nails don't look as nice, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I'm afraid to like show them. They don't look professional or whatnot, right? These are all things that seem very little and superficial, but they are things that help you feel better about yourself. And at least for me, they help me feel like a professional adult. And I feel like I just need to prioritize them and myself a little bit more this year, and that's one of the ways that I'm doing it. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to decide on my goals for the year. Again, I have a pretty good idea of the few things I want to accomplish, but I want to write it down on paper. I want to create my vision board. I want to do the whole bit. So I'm writing for my goals. I want to decide on 3 to 4 goals, attainable. I don't want to be super unrealistic here either, right? Create a vision board. And then for the vision board, I either want to, or I might do both, print/wallpaper for my desktop or whatnot. And then I also want to schedule check-ins for the year. The last thing I need, I don't think it needs its own category. I like to reset my digital spaces. So what this means is my phone screens. What I do is I literally delete everything first, and then I slowly start adding things back up in a way that I feel is going to be functional for me. I did not enjoy the way that I did this year. I tried it the whole year to see if it would function, and I don't feel like it functioned well. So I need to rethink the way that I'm going to do that. And then I also need to do that for my computer. All right, so these are all of the things that I want to get done to prepare for this year. Oh, you know what? I want to narrow down my exercise routine. I want to create a very attainable, very doable exercise routine. So I'm going to just add a little asterisk. I don't think it needs its own category, because that is another thing. The second I got busy, it was the first thing out the door. So I really want to prioritize that more, because just like doing my nails and having my hair done and all that stuff is very helpful for my confidence, so is actually getting some exercise in. So these are all the things that I want to accomplish in the next couple of days. I'm gonna put a load of laundry to get done, and I am gonna throw out some trash, and then I'm gonna sit down and narrow down my goals and my plan for the year. So it is definitely later into the evening. I finished cleaning up my kids' room, I finished their laundry, and then I took them to the movies. And now it's time to sit down and work on those goals. Maybe get to the vision board too. So the first thing I'm doing is looking at my reflections. This is something I did a couple of days ago, where I just sat down and I wrote down the things that went well, the things that didn't go so well. And from this, I definitely am noticing a pattern. I definitely notice things that need to be worked on, and from that is where my goals are going to stem from. So I very much recommend you guys do this before you actually set your goals. And don't focus on having your wins be big milestone things. It can be as simple as, one of the smaller things that I wrote is that I found a hairstyle that really worked for me this year, which is kind of cool. A big thing, I potty trained my second child, so now both my kids are fully potty trained. Very big win. If you are a parent of littles, you definitely understand. But things like that, taking all of these things into account, I can really put together some well thought out goals that I can actually manage and complete by the end of this year. Make sure that you are picking goals that are feasible, that are actually attainable within the time period. So after that, I did a big brain dump of things that I want to change. And that brain dump led to my big goals. So the way I'm gonna do this is I am creating my big goal, and then I'm gonna do little like umbrella goals within each category that will help me reach that big goal. And then I'm gonna try to even like separate it by month and all of that. I want big goals for the year, but I want things I can check in on. Remember, we want to do those check-ins about every 3 months or so. So that's what I'm planning on doing. Something else I also found very helpful was to kind of create the sections of my life where I want certain goals. I'm gonna call these my anchor goals. And I don't want more than 3 to 5 of these. So something I know that I definitely wanna work on this year is my career. My anchor goal number 1 will be career. That's the first section. And you know what? I think I'm actually gonna use Post-its for this. So under career, I'm going to create my Post-it. I'm going to put my Post-it so that I can write what the big goal is going to be and maybe a couple of subcategories within it. Number 2 is going to be my finances. You've heard me mention it already several times in this video, so that's definitely a big one that I need to focus on. Goal number 3 is going to be my health and energy. Again, these are the areas in my life where I feel like I failed myself this year. That sounds a little harsh, but really it's just the areas of my life where I don't think I did well. I stopped paying attention. So I want to refocus it. Those are the 3 main ones. Now the area of my life, the next anchor goal is just an area of my life that I want to it's just an area of my life that I want to make sure that I'm not losing track of, and that's my family and relationships. And then last but not least, this one in the back, is going to be my personal joy and identity. And this area is mainly here to remind me to prioritize myself. Okay, so now let's break it down. So right now, again, I have a page in the back. My goals look like this. I have my categories and then the section where I'm actually going to write the goal with my Post-it. All right, so now that I have my subcategories or my anchor categories, I need to write the actual goal. For my career goal, I definitely want to see some significant advances within my career this year. Next up is my finances, and my biggest thing for my finances is that I want to pay off a bunch of my debt. Next up, for health and energy. And this one, I know I want to focus on food and exercise, but another really big one is sleep. And then another one I want to add to here is water. And actually, that reminds me, let me drink some. I'm not sure I've discussed this on my channel very much, but I do have PCOS, and that makes weight gain very easy and weight loss very difficult. So I want to see if I can really take control of that this year. So that's a big goal. Remember, there's going to be more trackable aspects to these goals as I narrow it down a little bit more. These are the umbrella for all the habits and systems that I'm going to put into place throughout the year. So next, for family and relationships. In order to meet both of those things, I want my family and relationship goal to be to create a protected weekly family ritual and a monthly marriage ritual. So what that means is make sure I have, like, for example, my family night Fridays, breakfast on Sundays, like something that we do as a family at least once a week that's just repeated throughout the year. And then for the marriage one, I want to have at least one time every month that it's just me and my husband. I feel like that would be very helpful in our relationship to just continue to let it grow. We've been together for 16 years, guys, so you know, it still takes work. Let's move on to the personal joy and identity. Okay, so for this one, my goal is going to be to prioritize my joys and self-care. Right, and those are my 5 goals for 2026. What I think I want to do now is create my vision board to go with this. I want to create a separate video showing you how I narrow these categories down even more and how to put a system in place so that I can actually achieve them. We're going to do our quick vision board and then that'll be it. Alright guys, that is all for this video. I hope that you have enjoyed planning for 2026 with me. In this video, I included really umbrella kind of categories and things that I wanted to accomplish and do to get myself ready for 2026. I do see January, especially the first week of January, as a week where you are getting ready for your year. January is that kind of like limbo time where you do start some things, right? But it's also still getting ready to set up your year. I did mention earlier that this is the first video in a series that I plan on doing this January, where I am going to continue narrowing down all of my goals, putting systems into place, and seeing how everything evolves and what's going to be more efficient and effective as I move forward. And yeah, I hope that you will tune in for those, and I thank you again so much for tuning into this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.